50,000 bees are about to make a decision that has no leader, no vote counter, and no room for error. And if they get it wrong, every single one of them dies. Not from a predator, not from starvation, from something as simple as picking the wrong house. Right now, clinging to a branch in a trembling, humming ball, half a colony sits homeless, exposed, defenseless, and running out of time. Somewhere out there, a handful of scouts are about to decide their fate, and they're going to do it by dancing. It starts with a crisis you can't see from outside. Inside the hive, the walls are closing in, literally. Comb packed edge to edge, nurseries overflowing, the queen laying eggs into every last inch of space, while workers scramble over each other just to move. A healthy colony has become a ticking bomb of overcrowding, and the hive's only fix is drastic. It has to split itself in two and gamble half its population on finding a new home from scratch. The workers act first, and what they do borders on ruthless. They cut the queen's food. She's too heavy to fly, swollen from months of non-stop egg-laying, so they starve her down, ounce by ounce, until she's light enough to take to the air. At the same time, in the depths of the comb, something else is happening. New cells are being built. Not the usual flat hexagons, but strange, elongated pods hanging like acorns. Queen cells. Insurance. Whatever happens next, the hive intends to survive. Then, without warning, eruption. More than 10,000 bees blast out of the entrance at once, a living tornado spiraling into the sky. The queen swept along inside it. It's chaos by design. Within minutes, the swarm collapses onto a nearby branch and clumps into a shivering, breathing mass, the queen buried at its core, protected by a wall of her own daughters' bodies. This is the single most dangerous moment in a honeybee's life. No hive, no walls, no stored food. Just a clump of insects hanging in the open, one hard rain or one hungry bird away from disaster. So scouts break off, maybe a few hundred out of 10,000, and vanish into the landscape like search parties racing a clock. They inspect hollow trees, gaps behind rooftops, cracks in stone, sizing up each cavity with almost engineering precision. How big is the opening? How much room inside? How exposed to wind, to rain, to enemies? When a scout finds something promising, she comes back and does something almost unbelievable. She dances, a tight, frantic figure 8, vibrating her body, encoding distance and direction the way bees normally do for flowers, except this time she's not selling breakfast, she's selling real estate. And the more excited she is, the harder she dances. Other scouts watch. Some get convinced enough to fly out and check the site themselves. If they like it, they come back and dance too. And now there are 2 bees advertising the same location. Meanwhile, across the same swarm, other scouts are dancing for entirely different sites. A dozen competing pitches playing out in real time on the surface of a living, breathing cluster with no one moderating the debate. Slowly, the arguments start to tip. Not because any bee wins, but because momentum builds. More scouts visit the leading site. More come back convinced. More dance. It snowballs, quietly, until a threshold is crossed. A rough quorum. And just like that, without a single vote being cast, the decision is made. Now the hardest part, moving 10,000 bees who have no idea where they're going. The scouts can't carry anyone, so they do something stranger. They physically slam through the resting swarm in short, aggressive bursts, called buzz runs, jolting sleepy bees into readiness. Slowly, the whole cluster starts to hum, to vibrate, wings warming flight muscles in unison, until the entire mass lifts off the branch as one. The scouts don't lead from the front like a general. They thread through the edges of the flying swarm, nudging, steering, correcting drift, invisible traffic controllers, guiding a crowd toward a destination almost none of them have seen. Within minutes, the swarm funnels down into a dark opening in a tree, and by the time the sun sets, the first threads of new wax comb are already taking shape. A colony without a home at sunrise has one by nightfall, built not on instinct alone, but on debate, persuasion, and something eerily close to consensus. Here's the part that should stop you cold. No bee in that swarm ever saw the full picture. No one gave an order. No one was in charge. And yet, through nothing but movement and disagreement, 10,000 insects with brains smaller than a grain of rice pulled off a decision most human committees would fumble. So, the next time someone tells you intelligence requires a brain like ours, remember the swarm on the branch, voting with dance, betting everything on a stranger's opinion, and getting it right. What do you think? Could a hive mind like this ever outdecide a single genius? Drop your answer in the comments and stick around for our next video.